It's Thursday morning in America. I just got up and I saw that Wirecard has petitioned for insolvency, which is pretty much bankruptcy, in a German court of law, and its share price is now down 80% from just a day ago, and it's now down in total about 98% from just a week ago. Wirecard is now at €2, which is lower than it was pretty much since 2006 from what I read. For those of you who are new to Wirecard, I first made a video about this company a week ago when the news came out that they were involved in an accounting scandal in which $2 billion supposedly from their balance sheet could not be located. And as a result, their auditor, Ernst & Young, was unable to approve their financial statements or sign off on their accounts. And as a result, they had to make a public announcement stating the auditors couldn't find the money. They said that the money did exist, however, and they pointed towards two banks in the Philippines. The banks, of course, denied having the money, and over the weekend, Wirecard admitted that the money most likely does not exist. As more and more news comes out, it seems as though they've overstated their financial statements for the past several years, and that's where the money supposedly went, in that it never really existed. But I said all that in last week's video, and I also said that the financial standing for the firm, given that the $2 billion was the only thing that was fake about their balance sheet, was actually not too bad for the company, given that the rest of the balance sheet seemed pretty okay, in that the leverage for the firm wasn't as bad as I thought. They had $2 billion in loans about to be terminated, but they had about $6 billion in current assets. We learned in the past few days, however, that those assets were pretty much illiquid and they could not be used to pay off the creditors. As a result, some of the creditors, such as the Bank of China, I believe, were starting to cut off the lifeline for Wirecard, and now we see that the company has essentially filed for bankruptcy. I apologize in that last week I gave it a rather bullish rating. I said that the company was likely to recover from the financial scandal, given that they're still a real company. They're one of the largest companies in Germany, and I expected that they would have some sort of government help given their size. But it seems as though I was wrong. I was very wrong, and share price has fallen about 85% since Monday's open. Thankfully, when I made the first video, it was after the German market closed on Friday, and so for all my viewers who might have been convinced to buy the stock, if you did go in, you would have went in on Monday morning. Which was at a better price than where it was on Friday for sure, but as you can see, it doesn't matter much now if you held on to it, since we're now at €2. I guess to my credit, I didn't go out and say buy in my last video. I was somewhat cautious, and I said that it's certainly possible the firm goes bankrupt, but my money was leaning on the fact that we might see Wirecard recover, given that a lot of fund managers who were short on Wirecard before this collapse were now becoming bulls. A few hours after I uploaded the video, I did a lot more research on the company, and I realized that it was in a lot more trouble than what I originally thought. The line of credit was very likely not to be extended. Their current assets were not very liquid, and it was very likely that they would lose many of their customers, and I don't think any creditors would ever have faith in the company again. And even if it's not an extremely leveraged firm, it still does rely on debt to operate. It's not literally drowning in cash. Some firms are probably able to sustain themselves without having to borrow, but I don't think Wirecard was one of those companies, and as such, I no longer believed in my analysis, and so I removed my video about 8 hours after I published it. Unfortunately, 200 people already viewed that analysis, and I can only hope that none of them chose to buy in. Again, thankfully, I made the video after the market closed on Friday in Germany, and so if you went in, you bought in at perhaps 13, 14 instead of 25, but that's still very bad considering we're now at 2. We're now nearing daily lows at around $2.50, and we could very well move lower. I think this is the end for Wirecard as they file for bankruptcy. I think they lost all of their creditors, and they're going to lose some of their clients. They owe their creditors about $4 billion at the moment, and they are unable to pay it back. As such, they filed for insolvency, bankruptcy protection, essentially. And yeah, they're now down 98%. The CEO got arrested, I believe, on Monday. He turned himself in voluntarily. I'd imagine the pressure was pretty high to do so, given that how big the news is right now. Apparently in Germany, this is making very huge headlines. even though we don't see too much of it in the United States. But this is one of the largest companies in Germany, remember, so it's sort of like a Dow Jones component suddenly becoming Enron or something to that effect. I gave it, I think, a $40 to $50 rating in the long term. I said that the stock wouldn't recover much in my last video for the short term, but in the long term, I'd imagine it to go up to $40, $50 if it manages to retain its line of credit, which they didn't. Bank of America said that they were likely to go to €1. It seems as though Bank of America is the much better financial analyst, surprise, surprise. And I guess that's one of the many reasons Bank of America continues to reject my job applications. I apologize for my terrible financial forecasting in my last video. I hope all of you did not buy into Wirecard, or at least held on to it. If you bought in here, per se, you might have made a little bit of profit churning the stock, but I hope none of you suffered severe losses trading this company. I know I had a viewer actually tell me in the previous video that he bought into Wirecard at €40. I think it was Thursday or Friday, and he was asking me if he should sell on Monday. And at first I said, no, hold on to it, it's going to go to $50. But after I did more research and I realized how much trouble the company was actually in, I tried to warn some other viewers as well that it's probably best to stay away from this company. I made the video private, but I think as of now I'm going to make it public again just so people can see what happened in hindsight. So yeah. Thank you very much for listening to this video. I wish you best luck in your trading, and I hope you did not suffer severe losses on Wirecard. Take care.